I'm Olivia. I've been married for just 6 months, so I'm still a newlywed. Juggling my nursing job and getting used to household chores has been a challenge. I met my husband Jackson at a cycling club. We enjoy bike rides together on weekends. Our relationship feels like an extension of our friendship. We do argue, but once we've said our piece, we quickly make up. It's like we're characters from a lighthearted comic. But there are people around us who act like villains from a drama, and it's really draining. Oh, I'm sorry. It seems I only ordered steak for 4. When we visited Jackson's parents' house for a weekend family dinner, my mother-in-law had a typical passive-aggressive surprise waiting.
Such an oversight on my part.
We've always been 4, so it's understandable. My father-in-law and sister-in-law, Isabella, chuckled. I'm sorry, Olivia. We have some bread I baked yesterday. You can have it with jam. Even though she pretended to forget, she's pushing leftovers on me. It's unbelievable. This is the 3rd time she's done this. Jackson, who believed his mom's oversights the first 2 times, is now clearly annoyed.
I'll eat the bread, Olivia. You have the steak.
That's not how it works. You're the one supporting your wife.
How many times have I told you Olivia earns as much as I do? If someone's not working, maybe you, Mom, should eat the leftover bread.
Well, sister-in-law, that's mean. Mom didn't do it on purpose. Did I do something wrong?
That's it. If there's no food for my wife, we're leaving.
Why?
We can just eat as a family. My family includes Olivia. If you can't understand that, we won't be visiting for a while.
Okay, let's split my steak. Olivia, is that okay? No thanks.
Ugh!
Eating in such an unwelcoming atmosphere feels like torture. We left, shaking off the clingy mother-in-law and Isabella. Thankfully, they hadn't tampered with our belongings. This has been the norm since our wedding. Mother-in-law and Isabella openly harass me while father-in-law smirks. When confronted, they play innocent. They even do it in front of Jackson. I wonder if they're trying to rope Jackson into their mean games. But miraculously, Jackson turned out okay despite his family. The kind-hearted Jackson who initially believed his mom and sister is now fed up with their antics against me. He's clearly on my side. I'm not the submissive type, so I don't feel the need to get along with Jackson's family at the expense of my well-being. I'll stand my ground, which seems to infuriate them even more. Interacting with them is just exhausting. After discussing with Jackson, we decided I wouldn't visit his parents' house for a while. But they had other plans. They can't resist tormenting a daughter-in-law they disapprove of. Hello, sister-in-law. Olivia, how have you been? A month after the steak incident, while Jackson was at work, mother-in-law and Isabella showed up at our place. Isabella, mother-in-law, what brings you here? Don't be so guarded. We're sorry we forgot to order your steak last time. We brought a cake as an apology. Would you like to share it with us? Really? There are 3 pieces. I checked, so don't worry. I really didn't want to, but after all, they're Jackson's family. It's rare for them to apologize, and I don't want to cause a scene and disturb other condo residents. Plus, I'm just off a night shift and I don't have the energy to argue. Reluctantly, I let them in. Wow, it's quite a mess in here. I regretted inviting them in just a minute after. The second round of passive-aggressive comments towards me had already begun. We've been busy with work and didn't expect any guests. You should always keep it clean. Do you want to get Jackson sick? Exactly. Our house is always clean because Mom takes care of it. That's what a wife should do, right? Clean? Sure, whenever I visit my spouse's parents' house, it's spotless, almost unnaturally so. But their closet? Jam-packed to the point the door was half open. I wanted to point that out, but I just wanted them to leave, so I quickly served the cake. If you can't handle housework, why not quit your job? I can. It would be a burden on my coworkers. Don't worry, everything will be fine, even without you, Olivia. How can someone who's never worked say that? Oh, how about moving in with us? I can teach you all the duties of a wife, and I'll even let you work. That sounds great. I'd love to get closer to my sister-in-law. No way. I'd never want to live with them. We're good, just the 2 of us. Oh well, it was a suggestion. What a pity. They surprisingly backed off quite easily. It felt eerie. Can I use the restroom?" "Sure." Isabella went to the bathroom, leaving me alone with my mother-in-law. "Don't worry about the living together thing. We're family, after all." That's not the point. When Isabella finally came out, they continued their barrage of comments until they finished their cake and finally left. They even had 3 cups of tea each. Closing the front door, I felt a wave of exhaustion. Jackson will be home soon. I need to start dinner. Fighting the urge to lie down, I slowly head into the living room. Distracted by my fatigue and frustration, I didn't notice the bedroom door was left open. "Hey, Jackson.
What's up?
Do you know where the contents of my red tin are?"
The red tin with the letters from your patients? No idea."
I thought so. That night, after my in-laws' unexpected visit, I noticed the contents of a tin in my bedroom were missing. This tin held letters from patients I had cared for. I had been organizing these letters in my bedroom just before they arrived. I was preparing dinner right after they left, so I didn't check the bedroom until bedtime. I had completely forgotten about it. But now, the contents were gone. All that was left was the red tin. I thought maybe I had taken it to the living room, so I searched everywhere but couldn't find it. After a night's sleep, I searched again but still couldn't find it. Then it hit me. Yesterday, Isabella's bathroom break was unusually long. Could it be? I quickly grabbed my phone and called my mother-in-law. "Oh, a call from Olivia. That's rare." Even over the phone, I could tell she sounded oddly cheerful. "I'm sorry, but I can't find a bundle of letters from my patients since yesterday. Do you know anything about it?" "Oh, you've lost something so important. How careless." "I don't know, but I'll ask Isabella." After a while, Isabella came on the line. "Sister-in-law, I'm sorry. I might have thrown it away." "What?" My worst fears were confirmed, and I felt sick. "I tidied up your bedroom a bit when I went to the bathroom." "I didn't ask you to." "It was messy and it bothered me." "That doesn't give you the right to go into my bedroom and throw away my things." "I'm sorry, I get so engrossed when I start cleaning. People often tell me I'm naturally eccentric." "What does that even mean?" "Olivia, Isabella didn't mean any harm. It's your fault for not keeping your room tidy in the first place." I can't believe. "I think we should move in together. I can teach you how to clean properly. We're both a bit forgetful, so you must be worried, right? We can support each other." My mother-in-law laughed, and I could hear Isabella laughing in the background. There's no point talking to them. I need to look for the letters. Goodbye. I hung up, feeling defeated. I found it. Opening the bedroom trash can, I found the letters I was looking for, but they were crumpled up, having been forced into the small bin. I carefully spread out each letter, trying to smooth out the creases. I could still read the words, but they were now tainted. These letters were my motivation to continue as a nurse. Some were from people I'd never see again. I felt so sad and angry. I could tolerate their harassment towards me, but this was unforgivable. They trampled on people's feelings, and I could never forgive them. When Jackson heard what his sister had done, he looked devastated.
"Maybe we should move far away."
"But you have a stable job, and it would be hard to start over in another state." "I like my current job, and I have patients I care for. I don't want to give up on everything because of them."
"But..."
I appreciate Jackson's willingness to even give up his family for me, but we have a powerful ally on our side. I think I'll talk to Dad.
"Your dad? He's a great guy, but..."
Jackson looked a bit troubled. It might seem pathetic to rely on a parent, but we had no choice. I want to show them what naturally eccentric really means. After convincing Jackson, I called my dad. A few days later, without any notice, Jackson and I visited my in-laws. What's this sudden visit? Decided to move in? At the entrance, my mother-in-law greeted us with a smug smile.
"No way,"
Jackson retorted, clearly annoyed. Unable to comprehend his frustration, Isabella and father-in-law piled on with their self-centered remarks. "Living together would make everyone happy, don't you think?"
"We're making a generous offer here, and you two are just being stubborn. You see, a daughter-in-law should..." "A daughter-in-law should what?"
"Huh?" A deep voice suddenly interrupted, causing everyone to flinch. From behind us, my dad slowly emerged.
"It's been a while, hasn't it? Since Jackson and my daughter's wedding." Yes, it has."
Father-in-law took a step back. My dad, with his bear-like stature and fox-like sharp gaze, was intimidating even to those who knew him. Mother-in-law whispered in my ear, tugging at my arm. "Why is your dad here?" "Because you said I was a terrible daughter-in-law. I thought you might want to see the face of the man who raised me."
Hey, lower your voice.
It's fine. I'm not bothered by my loud voice.
So I heard my daughter isn't up to your standards.
Dad's piercing gaze settled on mother-in-law.
Well, that's... What exactly is she lacking? Her room is messy. From what I saw, it didn't seem that bad. You must have very high standards. Let me see for myself.
Wait a minute. Ignoring her, Dad began inspecting the house. This was the reason for our unannounced visit. The clutter they usually hid in closets and spare rooms was now scattered everywhere, from the living room to the hallway. Even food wrappers and dust were left untouched.
From a neutral standpoint, it seems my daughter keeps her place tidier than this.
Dad tilted his head, puzzled.
But you came unannounced. Oh? I heard you told my daughter she should always keep her place clean, even without plans. Your words don't match your actions. Well, if this is your standard of cleanliness, my daughter is just fine. No need for you two to live together.
Deciding that was enough, Dad headed for the exit. Wait! Isabella tried to stop him. Despite being momentarily intimidated by his glare, she looked up pleadingly. Sister-in-law is so mean. She blames us for small mistakes and keeps rejecting us.
Oh, I heard. Like how you only ordered food for 4 during a meal, excluding her.
Dad responded calmly. Did she think that Dad, who had a surprising ear to listen, would be able to do it? Hoping he'd be sympathetic, mother-in-law chimed in. Yes, I accidentally ordered for the 4 of us. Olivia seemed upset. I didn't mean any harm.
That's unfortunate.
Right?
You should visit a neurologist immediately.
What? Mother-in-law makes a stupid sound at Dad's sudden proposal.
I suspect a brain disorder if you keep making such mistakes without any ill intentions. No, I know a good doctor. They're quite popular, so the earliest appointment is in a week. Is that okay?
No, thank you.
You shouldn't hesitate. It's not good for my daughter to blame an elderly person with a potential illness.
Elderly?
Seeing mother-in-law's shocked face, Dad turned to Isabella. You too.
Huh?
Dad also targets Isabella. You seem forgetful and cause trouble for others. Disposing of important documents in someone else's room might be a sign of an illness. I'll arrange for you both to be seen together. Don't worry.
I'm fine. I'm perfectly healthy.
You're around 40, right? It's a pity at such a young age.
I'm 25.
Oh, my apologies. I thought you were Jackson's older sister, not his younger one.
Wow, Dad. Isabella, who never seems to care about fashion or grooming, always looks grumpy. Does seem, well, a lot older than she is. I bet if Dad, who genuinely believes this, said it out loud, it would hurt Isabella more. Yes, he truly believes it. He suspects a brain issue and suggests a hospital visit out of pure concern. Though Dad looks intimidating, he was born into a privileged family. Maybe that's why he's genuinely, well, naturally eccentric. If it weren't for Mom being so grounded, our family would have been in chaos.
Don't worry, if your wife and daughter go to the hospital, they'll surely find out what's wrong.
Being treated as if his wife and daughter are ill, and genuinely. Wait, I'm not senile and I'm not sick.
People with illnesses often deny it. It must be shocking to think you're sick.
That's not true. Mother-in-law vehemently denies, almost ready to lash out. She must have realized they might genuinely take her to the hospital. It's on purpose, not ordering my daughter-in-law's steak. My daughter throwing away her stuff. It's all to spite her. Finally, mother-in-law admits her actions.
Spiting her?
Dad's eyes widen a bit.
So you mean the typical spite towards a daughter-in-law?
Yes, your daughter is too cheeky. Even though she's Jackson's wife, she's not a housewife and neglects household chores. We allow her to work so she could at least obey us when we meet. I endured spite from my mother-in-law. Isn't it unfair? Now it's Mom's turn. Isabel turns in with mother-in-law's momentum, but Dad's reaction isn't what they expected.
Poor thing.
Huh? Dad looks at mother-in-law with pity. His eyes might be intimidating, but as his daughter, I can see the compassion.
You've been treated horribly by father-in-law's mother all this time, haven't you? Didn't your husband protect you then?
Well,
It's not my daughter who's cruel, it's your husband. My sister was also mistreated by her mother-in-law, and her husband noticed and decided to separate from the mother-in-law. Mother-in-law gasps. When a couple marries, they should have their own household. A husband's duty is to protect his wife and children. Your husband abandoned that duty. Wait a minute! Father-in-law tries to interrupt Dad. Sorry for overstaying. Basically, a parent's role is to watch over their children's households. Oh, I'll make a hospital appointment just in case. We don't need a hospital, Isabella protests, almost screaming. But Dad isn't listening. Jackson, tell me your mom and sister's names later. Yes. Come on, Mom, say something. Mother-in-law, who was loud just moments ago, now looks pale. She probably realized who the real enemy is. The reason she could spite her daughter-in-law in front of Jackson was because she had real-life experience knowing her husband wouldn't side with the daughter-in-law. It's truly pitiful. Dad's right, she's a poor soul. Leaving behind a shouting Isabella and father-in-law and a contemplative mother-in-law, we leave the in-laws' house, probably because of the commotion at the entrance. The neighbors are watching from a distance, curious. Taking the opportunity, I explain the real situation of the spite towards the daughter-in-law, also mentioning the important letters that was thrown away. Receiving sympathy and encouragement, I express my gratitude. With some people listening intently, the story of the spite will probably spread quickly. Thanks, Dad. Yeah, with that level of chaos, you probably won't have to live with them. Good for you. Yes. Dad smiles, though it's a bit strained, but that's the best smile he can muster. Jackson, I'll give you the hospital's number. You should call, being family and all. You're really gonna call? Of course! What if something happened to your precious parents? Now that's what I call genuinely eccentric. He can't read the room, takes words at face value, but cares for everyone without bias. Fake eccentrics don't stand a chance against that. Later, Dad and Jackson actually took mother-in-law and Isabella to the hospital. Of course they were healthy, but Dad joked, "So it's just a bad personality then. Good to know." Apparently, Isabella gave him a death stare. Yet mother-in-law just went home without much reaction. And then, chaos started in the in-laws' house. Having realized who the real enemy was, mother-in-law heavily blamed father-in-law for his past actions, and father-in-law, without any remorse or apologies, made things worse, pushing their relationship to the brink of divorce. In the midst of this, Isabella and father-in-law, feeling abandoned by mother-in-law, stormed our house. Olivia, it's because of your dad stirring things up that Mom and Dad are on the verge of divorce. We were doing fine until you guys interfered. I looked at the two of them, fuming with a cool expression. So, sacrificing the daughter-in-law was the secret to a happy family? Rose. What did you say? Father-in-law, quick to anger, raised his fist. But we had a guest today. Oh, isn't that Jackson's dad? It's my dad. Are you here to spite the daughter-in-law again? Is it that fun? Does it release a lot of dopamine? Isabella, if you keep this up, you'll get more wrinkles and look even older. Shut up. See, getting angry isn't good. Dad looked down at Isabella with genuine concern, and being oblivious to how this might hurt her pride is so typical of my dad. Oh, I know someone hosting an anger management workshop. Interested? I suggested, and Dad's face lit up. Oh, that sounds great. Let's book it right away. Enough is enough. Isabella, on the verge of tears, yelled as she dragged father-in-law away. I doubt they'll ever storm our house again. Dad just happened to be here today, bringing back souvenirs from his trip with Mom. I felt bad for dragging him into this. Why are you so obsessed with spiting the daughter-in-law? There are so many fun things in the world. Dad genuinely wondered. They just think differently from you, Dad. I see. Are you okay, Olivia? If you're worried, you can always move in with us. I'll pass on that offer. I knew it was a genuine offer out of concern, but living with my well-meaning but eccentric dad might be too much for Jackson. Sometimes distance helps maintain a good relationship. It's okay. Jackson's on my side. That's reassuring. We'll work hard together so you won't have to worry, Dad. Jackson and I are solid, because unlike mother-in-law and her family, we've a bond that they lack.